Like, subscribe, and share, guys. Yesterday, in what I thought would be a clash of styles and what I thought would be a super entertaining fight, as seen here, led to what I actually bet against. Blew my whole ticket out the water, man. You can see I put a little 50 ball on the fight to win, a little whatever. Didn't happen because Andy Cruz didn't get it done. But that's besides the point. We had Raymond Muratalla versus Andy Cruz last night, and this was a really good fight. One that was that I had thought could be a potential fight of the year. And I'm not gonna lie, the fight was everything that I really thought it was gonna be. Basically, a clash of styles where you would have the aggressor going up against a defensive boxer puncher. And wow, the let's just talk about the scoring for a second. Personally, who cares about my opinion on the scorecard? But hey, this is my channel, right? My opinion is what you guys are here for. I really had this fight going as a draw. I feel like there were a lot of swing rounds when it came to this fight. Although a lot of people may say that Andy was taking a whooping, he was getting walked down. I feel like the 118 to 110 card was just disgusting, like absolutely disgusting. Andy did way better than what everybody thought he was doing. I liked a lot of the aggression from Muratalla coming in, and it's all credit to the guys behind him, his coaching staff led by Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia is literally the best. I'm only gonna say, well, we're in the new year 2026. I'm forgetting that we're not in 25. Forgive me, I'm still getting adjusted. But in the year of 2026, Robert Garcia is the best coach in boxing by far. He does a great job of just building and improving your strengths and then working on masking and shielding weaknesses. That's besides the point. Raymond Muratalla came out with a beautiful game plan led by Robert Garcia, which was to press forward, move his hands, and just continue with the aggression and move, and show the young Andy Cruz, who we forget, who I want to point out, that was only his seventh fight. Similar to another former Olympian, Vasyl Lomachenko, he stepped up to a super high level. So I think on the broadcast last night, they had mentioned this is a guy that went from fighting C-level fighters to fighting a guy who's potentially at an A level. He's never fought a guy who wasn't settling for just following him around and chasing the whole time. This guy made the fight rough. He got physical with Andy, and he made Andy uncomfortable at times and made Andy work. Now, I want to point out some of the highlights when it comes to Andy Cruz because I feel like he did a really good job in this fight as well. I'm not one to always make excuses about size difference and it mattering and playing a factor because I feel like if you make the weight, you make the weight. If you're skilled enough to evade guys who are bigger but also made the weight, then those should shine. I think where Andy Cruz made great highlights was as Muratalla would try to work and throw in those single hard shots, he was countering off the punches. One thing Andy did make a mistake in was posing too much. If he did catch Muratalla with a combination, he never would follow up when he stunned Muratalla, which led to Muratalla kind of being back on balance and being allowed to reset. Muratalla did a really good job of closing the distance, cutting off the ring, and making sure Andy was always on his back foot, never comfortable enough. And that just shows where Andy Cruz kind of needs to shake that amateur style off. Shake that Cuban style off where you're just settling for points and not kicking it into next gear to take the fight to another level. I also think that Andy showed that he could take the power. The power did kind of disturb him at certain points of the fight, so that led to him being a little uncomfortable, being cautious, which made Muratalla a little bit more confident and had him come on a little bit stronger to where he could press the action, especially at the end of rounds. A lot of those swing rounds could have been looked at as rounds that Muratalla stole. That 118-110 round, like I said, scorecard was disgusting. It was egregious. What was truly telling about the fight was Andy's defense as well. It was broken at times, but he made solid adjustments. Now, in reverse, in breaking the defense, Muratalla did a great job of staying composed, not getting frustrated with Andy and the hand movement, and not veering off of the game plan, which is what Robert wanted him to do. They did a great job of sticking to making sure Andy didn't pivot off of the line and keeping the mental pressure on Andy. Even when they weren't working, they still were keeping solid pressure, making sure that Andy was always focused on what was coming back. I think the mistake that Andy Cruz made was not being first and being on the front foot and walking on the back foot. Remember, Bozy had made Andy know, listen, you're in his home state. You're in his territory. The judges are going to be more in favor of him because he is a West Coast guy. He's looked at as the aggressor. Me, I don't score boxing based on who's walking forward, who's moving their hands more. I score based on clean, effective shots. Although Andy was throwing a lot of flurries, and same thing with Muratalla too. A lot of them were glove. They were at a close distance, so the shots, they were getting parried. A lot of them were catching glove and arm, but still, the physical fight would favor the guy. Like I said, starting off with this segment, favored the guy that was the bigger fighter. I feel like in order for Andy to be more effective and to nullify Mortalla's attack, he would have had to use better footwork, meaning not just circling around the ring and trying to set traps for Muratalla to fall into, which he mentioned at the end of the fight, that although he tried to set those traps, they didn't really work. He seen what he was trying to do, and he nullified his attack. I mean, pivoting off of the line, stepping around punches and catching him with shots off of the angles. I also think that the way to get to a guy like Raymond Muratalla is to invest into the body work early into the fight and not so much headhunting. I think both guys were headhunting a lot during the fight, and it got away from the body work. I think Muratalla could have definitely got Andy out of there, to be honest, if he had invested to the body, which I thought he was going to lead and do, along with a lot more volume, because he is a RGBA guy. Now, we're going to talk about the future for both guys, because I really would love to see a rematch at some point. Andy Cruz has nothing to hang his hat on. This is a guy who's very, very early into his career. Due to his age, he got moved this way to step up into this realm of a fight. There's still a lot more room to grow. To be honest, I really thought that Andy Cruz should start off at 130. But the fact that he was in there, it was a difficult fight, super competitive, to be honest. One judge had it a draw. The other judge had it going Mortalla's way, obviously, and then that wide scorecard, which I thought was egregious. So what does the future hold for Raymond Muratalla? This was a guy who, in my opinion, was avoided by the likes of Keyshawn Davis, who I don't approve of what he did after the fight. That was super corny. I don't think that was cool, whatever. Shakur Stevenson. These are two guys that I just named. I like the way that they fight. I support them. And I'm not too sure if he was avoided, but I know they don't do business. PBC and Top Rank. Gervonta Davis. Muratalla might have put himself on the map, whatever Gervonta's situation is, to get a Gervonta fight. He said he wanted the winner of the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez match, so we could see that. I think that a guy like Andy Cruz now could definitely be in the conversation for maybe a few more step-up fights along the way, pivoting. I see why Schofield didn't want that fight. Let me know what you guys thought of the fight. I thought it was a great fight. Instant classic. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. And we out.